All right. So as I mentioned, Mercury retrograde and eclipses, kind of rocky. Not the smoothest of months for anyone. But for you, the challenges are going to be around, for a lot of you, there may be some financial issues. There may be, maybe you're trying to get your finances in order or figure out how you're going to be able to afford something. This could be a trip or an investment and be a home. You may be working out a budget, looking at your budget. This is a very Capricorn thing to do, by the way. But yeah, just kind of try to get a handle on finances. With the Two of Pentacles reversed, this can be an offer that's withdrawn as far as, if you have had an offer of somebody teaming up with you on something. Normally with the two, though, it's a one-to-one thing. This could be a relationship if you have a business relationship with your partner, if you're married but you also own a business together, or if you work with your partner. There may be some changes. Maybe one of you leaves or decides to go do something else. Or maybe you're talking about that, or maybe you don't want to work anymore. Maybe one of you doesn't want to work anymore, and you're discussing that. You're discussing that. But I think for a lot of you, this just has to do with kind of, coordinating spending with someone else. And it may come at an inopportune time because somebody may have a trip planned, or there may be a trip that comes out of the blue. This could be a business trip, or maybe having to go visit a sick relative, or, there may be problems with the car. Something may come up with the car with Mercury retrograde that would not be unusual. So yeah, it could just be that you have to get the car checked out, and it turns out that there's a lot to spend on that, and maybe it takes away from other things that you needed to pay for in October. So challenges around finances in Capricorn. I mean, you can figure it out, but it does look like you're going to have to take some money from elsewhere to put towards an unexpected expense maybe, and it may have to do with travel. It may have to do with fixing a car, a vehicle. So if you're watching this on the September side, definitely, and you're planning a vacation or a trip in October, make sure you check flights. There's likely to be delays with Mercury retrograde. Maybe you just expect that, things are going to be delayed or nothing's going to be on time. It never really is anyway, but particularly during a Mercury retrograde. If you're taking a trip by car, going to be traveling by car, make sure you get everything checked out before you go, the oil, the tires, all of that good stuff. Let's see what else we've got here. So challenges around finances, there's something you got to let go. There's something you got to leave behind, or maybe an expense that you have to let go. Maybe you've got to shut the cable off and just go with Netflix. It's like you have to make decisions like that. Well, we don't really need this, or we don't really use this. It seems like, there may be something that's not really missed that you've got to let go of. For some of you, this may be, Pentacles are also family relationships. So maybe there's a relationship you have to let go of. Or an attachment that you need to let go of. So yeah, something needs to go. And if it's not financial, if it's not an expense, then it could be a family situation, a family tension or relationship that you have to just let go for now. You can't do anything about it. You can't fix it. And you need a break. You need a break from some drama. There is a severance or a distance between you and someone, a lack of communication. Some of you may be feeling, some of you, this may be your partner. Maybe, maybe this is, not only are you talking about, how to split up your finances, maybe you're talking about getting a divorce. Some of you thinking about leaving your relationship, and, the path will become clear with the Two of Swords reversed in October. You'll see which way to go, because the Two of Swords upright is more of, two ideas, two paths. You're keeping two very different things in balance. It reminds me of the Temperance card. But a lot of it is in going on in the mind with swords. This is like a mental, you may not talk to anyone else about this. Maybe this is just, maybe you're thinking of getting a divorce, some of you Capricorns. Maybe you're thinking about breaking off with someone or leaving a job. This can be a severance from work. where you've been working. Maybe you're thinking of leaving. Maybe you have already narrowed it down to where you're going to go. Maybe you already have a start date and you just haven't told people at work. That's another way. This can be working out, but you've got it all planned out and you know when you're going to do. Maybe you're planning to retire and you haven't told them yet, but you know what date it's going to be. So yeah, whatever this severance is, it's necessary. This could just be a break in a relationship. It does not have to be permanent. So maybe you just decide, I can't deal with this person anymore. I need a break dealing with this person, whether it's a friend or a boyfriend, a girlfriend, your mate. Maybe you do a trial separation. Maybe you decide, you know what, let's try some time apart and see how that goes. See if we're happier. Again, doesn't have to be a romantic relationship though. It could be a friendship that maybe you're just like, I'm done with this. Somebody who's been having a negative impact on your life rather than positive. Until they can be positive, you don't need that around. And maybe for some of you, this will be permanent, but not all of you. Because this normally means a temporary break. Doesn't have to be permanent. For some of you, maybe you don't find your partner attractive anymore. Maybe you're not attracted. You're not feeling the spark anymore. Maybe it's just that you need to kind of try to put the spark back in a marriage, if it's a long-term relationship or marriage. It could be if you just kind of add some fuel to the fire. Again, this can be rejuvenated. So I'm not seeing permanent endings in October, Capricorn. And I'm not seeing a lot of like confrontation. There may be some with this rune reversed. There could be some negative communication going on back and forth, or just snotty communication, or just, and you're just like, oh my God, whatever. I mean, you won't even respond. I think most of you, it's just going to be like, whatever, I'm done with that. And I'm going to focus on other things. Help that's going to be available to you is that you are going to, move beyond a limbo situation. It's necessary for you to do that. And it may be difficult, but yeah, this could be a situation where, and it may be the same situation, not for all of you though. For some of you, it may be a totally different circumstance, but a situation you've been in limbo about whether to move forward or to act on, or whether to move, go on a trip. Maybe this is going back to finances. Oh, I was waiting to see how the finances pan out this month, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to go on this trip. There's something that you need to do regarding making some sort of a decision on something you've been straddling the fence on. Maybe you've been trying to be the mediator in something, or maybe you've been caught in the middle and now you're definitely coming down on one side or the other. It's like, okay, I don't know why I was even trying to do this, because with the Hangman reversed, you're no longer caring what the other person's perspective is. Maybe you did at one time. Maybe you were trying to see something from someone else's perspective at one time, but now you just can't, because you can't do it, or you feel like you don't understand where they're coming from, and you no longer care with this rune. You no longer need to. You're just sick of someone's drama, because and silly, immature communication with this rune. And that's going to be a help to you to kind of finally come down on one side or the other, because something's going to solidify, and then you're just like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is my viewpoint. I'm staying there. No more of this back and forth straddling the fence, being caught in the middle. At least now I don't have to deal with that anymore. So, what can't be changed about the month of October, Capricorn, is that, again, with travel, with the Chariot reversed, there, again, delays. You may be thinking that, maybe you can't spend as much on a trip as you would like, or maybe you have to downsize. Maybe you have to move from an expensive hotel to a less expensive one. Maybe this is a trip you don't want to take because somebody's under the weather, somebody is sick. Again, coming up, you may be visiting a sick relative or dealing with that. Maybe your partner is sick and you don't want to leave them. Somebody may be just not doing well health-wise in October, and you may have to postpone or kind of rearrange a trip here. Ultimately, though, it does seem like you're going to make it work in your favor because we have the victory rune, the sun rune. Something you think, a trip maybe that you think you have to put off because the car costs so much to fix or because of other expenses, you will be able to, or other obligations, you will be able to go. But it may be you may be not sure until the last minute. Some of you may feel like you've been defeated. Because this is the card, when it's reversed, upright, it's winning the war. Reversed, it's defeat your chariot's turned over. Everything's fallen out. You may feel wounded or vulnerable, like you've been taken advantage of or used or, but you're going to be able to turn this around because again, we have the sun. So, that this is not true or that you're not going to let this happen again. Or you've learned from it. So I think you're going to find the silver lining, whatever that is in this situation. You'll be able to feel positive about this again. At the end of October, or towards the end, I do see a new beginning in relationship for some of you with the Two of Cups. And you have the blank rune, which is, it means if you walk through a certain door and with the Two of Cups there, this would be regarding a relationship. It does not have to be a romantic partnership, but it is somebody that you feel strongly for. It's a very strong emotional connection. There's a new beginning or a complete rebirth in this relationship, and maybe it's been a long time in coming. So again, going back to this, if you are missing the spark in a relationship, or maybe if a relationship has been more combative than usual, you'll be able to rejuvenate this if you want to. Maybe the trial separation, by the end of October, you're like, hey, let's go on a date, and things get hot and heavy. Or this could be somebody new coming in. Capricorn, for those of you who have, it looks like for those of you who maybe have separated or are going through divorce and division of assets and all of that stuff, maybe you already have somebody around that you were interested in or that was interested in you, because you're going to end October in a very festive month and an emotional pairing that is just loads of fun. So maybe you're going to a Halloween party with your new honey or your old honey if you're reconnecting. Either way, it looks to be a pretty romantic end to the month. And if this is not a romantic pairing, just having a good time with a close friend, someone that you care a lot for, gonna be living it up and lots of drinking. Lots of drinking at this party. So definitely be careful, though, with these travel cards. Do not drive if you've imbibed a little too much at the Halloween party. Definitely make sure that you call a cab or get a ride or crash wherever you are. Because, again, with Mercury retrograde, I don't want you to get into an accident. Watch out for that. Drive very carefully in October, Capricorn. Because, again, with Mercury retrograde, that can cause accidents, not just things going wrong with your car, or things can go wrong with the car that cause accidents. Just make sure everything's in good working order. But an emotional partnership going on in October. Some of you may be getting married in October. You may be celebrating a wedding anniversary. So there may be, some romance connected with that. Maybe you decide to get back together on your anniversary. Again, there's so many of you. It's going to be different for all of you. But whatever the stresses of the month are, you do end on a happy note when it comes to revelry or partying or reconnecting or new connections with someone.